Good evening, I'm John Batchelor. This is the John Batchelor Show. The day after the end of the world, we're doing fine. If China's listening, we're just fine. In fact, we're open for business, and the business at hand is Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, or the website that doesn't work much. Mary Kissel, the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, joins me tonight. Mary is the host of Opinion Journal each day at WSJ.com. In these last 2 weeks, we've been necessarily focused on the contest on the Hill and with the White House. However, now that that is resolved in some fashion, we turn our attention to the Affordable Care Act 16 days in. We do not have transparency. Mary, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, John. Great to be with you.
I'm going to say that out here in the world of radio, we don't have transparency. How's the transparency of the Affordable Care Act at the Wall Street Journal editorial board? Are you getting hard numbers that we all need to know, Mary?
It's not terrific, John. It's hard to get specifics. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, that's very diplomatic of you. And we're joined now by Mona Charen, writing in the National Review Online, anticipating questions you all have. We have them too, but we're welcoming Mona. Mona, a very good evening to you. Transparency. As I recall, it's very tiresome of us to remember campaign promises, but what the heck, Mona? Here we are in 2013. The Obama campaign in 2008, and I believe they did not repudiate this in 2012, said that the Obama administration would be the most transparent and sharing in American history. We are now launched on national health care as no one ever understood it. Do you hear transparency used by the White House or by anyone when it comes to the numbers so far with the Affordable Care Act? Good evening to you, Mona.
Hi, John. Boy, you really do have a good memory. That's right. Now that you've refreshed mine, I recall Obama saying in 2008 that all of the negotiations about his legislation were going to be on C-SPAN. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And, of course, they actually changed the locks in the Congress so that those they didn't want would not be able to listen in. Well, anyway, here we are, and no, there's no transparency. Quite the contrary. We are not privy to how much was spent to develop this failed healthcare.gov website, what the code is, what the problems are. It's all being described as glitches, but experts who've evaluated the situation deny this vehemently. No, it's a complete train wreck, and in fact, the lack of transparency is really the least of it.
Mona, let's be fair. Kathleen Sebelius, she's a good lady. She's tried to do a very good job at HHS. She's overseen this entire process. They've had a flood of people, a lot of interest in this website. Couldn't that be the issue, that they simply had millions of people trying to log on at once, and that wasn't anticipated?
Oh, well, that's very nice of you, Mary, to offer the generous suggestion. No. Again, the computer people who have evaluated that claim say, look, if it were just a matter of volume, all you do is get more servers. I mean, that's really not true. It goes to and in fact, there was a good report in your newspaper, in the Wall Street Journal, about the fact that it was not a volume issue. It was a matter of the design of the website, that this was a cheesy operation from the very beginning. And frankly, when I have done some research on this and spoken to people who were advisors to the Obama administration, they say the administration knew that this rollout was going to be a disaster, were warned of it. Let's not forget, they've had 3 years to get this ready. And they were the ones who claimed that there were 47 million uninsured who would be clamoring to take advantage of this new opportunity to enroll. And they knew it was going to be a disaster and still went forward.
Let's turn the screw all the way, ladies, because we know that what we have now is a catastrophe ongoing. The numbers show that right now there's no way they make the December 15th, the January 1st, the March 15th deadline for sign-up. We have families who are going to be anxious that they've lost their health care or their health care is threatened or damaged in some way. There's no substitute. So, heads rolling. That's the first thing Washington knows how to do. Is the president in a position to climb down and delay or reconfigure the Affordable Care Act? To begin with you, Mona, is he ready to do that? Do you sense that the White House's plan B looking to sweep aside the HHS and start again in a few years from now?
Look, they may have to do something along those lines, but they're going to pay a very steep political price for it. Not just the wasted money, several $100 million developing this website, but also the broken promises that this administration knew how to do things in a streamlined way, that you could trust the federal government to handle this, that they were kind of like the Apple Corporation. Oh, yes, their new iPhone might have some glitches, but they'll straighten those out in a short time. There's already poll evidence that millennials are very disillusioned with the Obama administration because its promises have been so have failed.
Mona, a couple $100 million when we're running $1 trillion annual deficits. I mean, what's a couple $100 million? I mean, look.
Oh, right. It's not real money.
It's not real money. The Fed is printing it. It's all free.
Yeah, that's right.
The president can't afford to delay the individual mandate. He has to get as many people as possible into this program, particularly young people, to fund the health care for the older and sicker generation. So, my question is, what's the problem with going to paper? If the website doesn't work, why don't we just do what Medicaid does and just have people submit it by mail?
Well, I wondered the same thing. And when you look at what HHS has said, they have said there is no need for a backup plan. Does that look like sheer incompetence to you?
We have one
or denial.
We have one Delaware resident. Last time I checked, this is a state very favorable to the Obama administration. One Delaware resident who is being celebrated as being the first and perhaps the only person to enroll in the Affordable Care Act after what she says were hours on the phone working with a navigator. Now, why that's significant is paper. You mentioned that, Mary. What we do not have is a breakdown of the successful enrollments. How many of those have been paper documents done with a navigator on the phone? Because the website doesn't work. It requires a lot of adjustments that are not reliable when you go back on, even if you've managed to get through the application process. And this one woman says that she was 10 hours on the phone, 1.5 hours on her sign-up attempts took 1.5 hours, and then many more hours with a navigator being hand-directed through this process. So,
John,
yes.
When you consider that the people that this administration needs to sign up are young, healthy people who don't want this product in the first place, right? And now you're going to make them sit on the phone for 10 hours attempting to navigate this clunky and failing website in order to buy something that they never really wanted to buy in the first place?
But Mona, the Obama administration would probably say to you, but it's for the greater good. Right. These older and sicker people are a lot of our health care costs, and we need the young people to sign up.
Look, I don't want to be too cynical, but look, the Obama administration got a lot of mileage out of promising people free stuff. Benefits with no cost. And in fact, that is the way Obamacare was sold. There was going to be no downside. It wasn't going to add a dime to the deficit. It wasn't going to make anybody lose the health care that they liked. It was all going to be positive. It was going to cover, 30, 50 million uninsured people, but not cost anybody else any money. And of course, all of those were ridiculous claims. But now, finally, the rubber has met the road. And people are seeing, A, yes, their premiums are going up, not down. B, actually participating in this thing is a complete train wreck. And C, yes, you are losing the coverage that you thought was, that you enjoyed or liked or were happy with. Lots of companies are cutting back on coverage or dropping spouses and so forth. So every single promise that was made about this, the huge government program, the signature initiative of Barack Obama, is false.
Mona, just quickly here. What kind of timeline are you thinking of? How long have they got? Have they got till Christmas? Can they fight this through by living in denial and refusing transparency that far? Or are they going to have to get out? They are going to have to get out, Mona, before Christmas. Can they do that? Are they strong enough to do that?
Yeah, look, because the Republicans are in such a weakened position right now because of their own folly, that I do actually think this gives the Obama administration more leash. They can make excuses. They can announce, committees that are going to be looking into all of the difficulties. They're going to appoint overseers to figure out the snafus and temporarily, give themselves extra time. So I do think they gave, they have a little bit of wiggle room, but maybe a couple of months. I wouldn't say more than that. Beyond, after which people start to forget the shutdown showdown, and they begin to say,
Mona Charen of the National Review Online, Mary Kissel, the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. Mary, the detail here. This is Governor Hickenlooper, Colorado. I follow this story very carefully. It has its own exchange. They need 800,000 people to sign up to make it work in Colorado. That's the number they announced beforehand. Right now, according to officials who have watched the sign-up process in Colorado, they have 226 verified enrolled.
Just the first couple weeks, John.
16 days, 226.
Just the first couple weeks.
226. To get to 800,000, I think we're looking at my extreme old age. Mary Kissel, I'm John Batchelor.